side of check-in screen. It's going to be right here. So you could either, one, you can put the on click right here to trigger your function.
Okay.
But what did we do? Check-in search button. What did we do with that? Or how did we? So you bound an on click.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, that's fine. Totally fine with that.
Okay, so I either have to make a change to I have to put it here, or I have to put it in the HTML. Okay, that works.
Either it's just your flavor of coding, so
well,
I'm good with that.
Actually, it's more that I'm trying to make it so that I don't trip over you. And,
okay.
And it looks like this is where we may trip over each other, is on the ready function.
Yeah, no, we'll be fine.
Okay.
We'll be fine. Yeah, what you did right here is perfectly fine. You could bypass coming in here and just directly calling your function on click equals will function.
Right. Okay.
You pass in this element if you wanted to, or you can do whatever you want at that point, and then you can just stick that function in will.js, and that will be rendered on the page immediately.
But actually, I don't know that I could do that because I would have to bind data to this, because basically the get patient does a. Oh yeah, I guess. Oh, shit.
So you were watching my example right here. The reason why I'm doing this on click is that these patient cards don't exist in the HTML on document.ready.
Yep.
So I'm holding inside the body what I want it to do. When this page is loaded, I have the body, and your button will exist because it's in this HTML. So you don't have to wait for the document to be ready to bind any functionality to this button. You can just directly do it right here because it will exist. It will always exist because it's in our HTML. But I don't have any patient cards on document.ready, so I had to put a placeholder inside body and say when the body's clicked.
But how would I get because what I'm also doing on the button press is I'm getting the data from the search field.
Mm-hmm. So you could do this. You could do what you did right here, where you just reselected that value, or you could have done the same thing with this dot val. So yeah, you could do this. This dot val is what you're wanting. But like I said, there's no wrong. Either one of these are identical. These two right here.
But they're different fields. Check-in patient search is different than check-in search button.
Oh, you're right. Thanks. Yep, you are so right.
Okay.
So the way you got it is right. Okay,
but if I was going to make that HTML, I guess this is why I was sort of forced down this path, is I don't, how would I be, because I need to first pass in the variable psearch and then call the function.
Okay,
how would I do that?
This function right here is what you would copy, come over here to this, if it, give the name,
I see.
Search clicked. Don't see why there's no unused. Take this function. Oops.
And then call that directly.
Yeah. So I'm going to take this out.
So I can never pass any variables from the HTML. I can just call them directly.
Yep.
Okay, got it.
OnClick equals. OnClick equals. Boom.
Yeah.
So that will do the exact same thing as what you had before, and not that I don't want you to touch main.js, but you don't. This prevents you from having to.
Okay.
So you just go directly to your. Here, let me, before I say that will work, let me make sure it will work. Boom.
Okay. Oh, you know what? I had one other question. Yesterday, when I was doing this, I basically had the same kind of setup that you're using now, where you have your browser pointed to the local file.
Mm-hmm.
And when I would refresh the screen after making a change to the main CSS or the main JS, it would take a really long time before the data would show up. And
it's probably caching. What I always do on a Mac, right?
Well, no, this was on a PC. But what I got was an error that said that it couldn't find some. It looked like a jQuery file.
All right. Next time that happens, can you take a screenshot and let me see the error?
Yeah, I will.
Wow, I didn't mean to go all tech support on you, but.
Well, I thought that maybe I had to install jQuery or something like that on my local machine. I thought maybe there was some setup that needed to be done. It still worked, but it just took a really long time.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. No biggie. No biggie.
Are you targeting the specific one based on what type of phone number it is?
Yes. Yeah. I search. That's. I do another for each that basically checks to see if it's a mobile. It checks to see if it's a home. It checks to see if it's an email, because all of those fields, phone number and email, show up as the same thing. They're all telecom. They're just within an array.
Okay. And another thing I'm looking at that I want to change is that this gender one is text. So I want to make it into a select so that we don't run into this problem right here where it's like, what, did they misspell it?
Yeah. Good point.
So we're going to turn that into a select. Hey, do you want to do that?
I'm sorry? Yeah, I'll do that.
No, man, like, you want to do it now?
Sure. Friggin' yeah.
Okay. So we're gender. So instead of an input, we're gonna comment this out and do a select. Now, how do we want to put in the select options? We want to hard code it in here, and since we know the values from Chris's database, I guess we can give. Let me get a little further, then that'll make more sense what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
I think we need to have three options. The first one to say select. And this one's going to say male. You know what? Ladies first. Female. Yeah. Now the value is what we're going to pass between the server and front end. So we're going to maybe want a sentinel of -99 because that's invalid. So that just tells us that they didn't select anything, and we can warn them, like, hey, we don't know the gender. Now, the value right here, do we want to use F? Do we want to use female? How should we go about that? So we have a code, and then we have a display. So let's go with the code. What do you guys think?
A code or a display?
Yeah, so like the gender, we have either code, F, or display, female.
I went with display.
Display?
Yeah, just because people are hard of don't have good vision. It's easier to see the difference between female and male. Harder to see F and M.
Yeah, but we're working with the the part that we were going to send back to the to the server back and forth. So yeah,
I think we should we should send both.
Huh?
We should send both.
And both.
Yeah, it's in the data as code and display.
What is this?
I think that's the, what do you call that? The like the standard that it's based on.
Oh, look at that! Boom. Okay, I want to use this if that's okay with you.
Yep.
So instead of our of -99, we'll just do un f m. So if that's the standard.
But don't we need to fill in display as well? I mean, I would have thought that we would have to do both.
Yeah. So the option works is that behind the scenes we have the code, but inside the option is what's going to be displayed on the screen. So let's.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were sending that data back. Never mind.
That's what it's going to look like. Ew, it's ugly. Ew, it's ugly. But yeah, there's the female male. It's ugly. I'm going to look for a cool looking select inside of here. Components. What is it called? Drop down, right? Yep, drop down. Ooh, that's prettier. Which one? I think I like this one right here. Well, it's not dropping down. Oh. So I'm going to take this snippet of code and back over here. I just did just a typical select up there, but I'm going to move that into this. So we're going to call this check-in gender. It looks like this is the name of it. We're just going to call it select, maybe. Hopefully that will work. I don't know. I'm kind of going at it with... How is it? You know what? Let's just see what it looks like. No. That is not what I want. Back to the drawing board. Drop down. Display menu items. None of this is what I want.
What's in your brain?
That. I want this.
As opposed to... Isn't that what you're getting?
Maybe. Why did it show up all the way over here, though?
Oh. I did not see that.
Let's see. What I'm needing now is... Alright. Here's where my brain's going. But this is just shell, or this is just very low-level, simple select, and it is ugly because it doesn't match anything else that's on this page. So I'm needing the styling that's built into Bootstrap CSS to make this look like everything else. And I know that's like off topic and probably something we can do at the end, but that's just where my brain's going.
Okay.
So I know that there's a particular class I can add to this to make it style right. So maybe it's, you know what? Let me do a select. Maybe not. Anyways, we'll come back to it. It doesn't matter right now. We just need to get functionality in. So if we look into this, we can see that we have our select, and then there's our options. You know what? We need an ID with it. But now we have it. We're going to just put this in here. Now we have an ID, and whatever is check-in gender. You can target check in gender. It's val. There's email F L M, and then you can pass it in whatever the code is from your whatever. It's gonna. You see, it's female.
It'll update it.
It'll update it.
Okay.
So that's gonna eliminate. Which this is something we should talk to Chris, I guess, if he's gonna do our demo, and just show them. You know, we're trying to eliminate. One of our lessons was, what does male mean? What does female mean? And this is how we're handling it. So we're going to use the systems code and on the front end to keep confusions. We're not using zeros and ones and whatnot.
Okay.
Let me push this up because I've done a lot.
Yeah, I think I'm actually going to try to recreate some of what you've done, just to get a handle on some of it, to make sure that I got it, and then I'll go ahead and pull your code. Okay, so give me my next. So I'm going to go ahead and finish this up.
Okay.
So what's my next job?
So you're going to finish up the multiple patient select.
Yeah, because the hardest part you just did, and that was coming up with that extra screen and being able to click it and have it come out. And I can go ahead and pretty it up, make sure that the data is handled correctly.
Okay.
In fact, I'll go ahead and stop recording now.